Why, hello there, Trailblazers fans. Chris Burkhardt here. I hit record because I was like, you know what? I've been busy and it's been a minute since I dropped a podcast. Here's one for you. Welcome in to the 1977, a podcast named after your 1977 NBA champion, Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers are past the midway point. There are 20 games left in this season, and despite it being a rough go the last few nights in Charlotte and Atlanta, I'm here to tell you why the rest of the way is still easy for Portland, and we have some numbers to back it up. Now, the NBA put out a article yesterday, and this was ahead of the game, so it counts the fact that Portland still had Atlanta to play. But it was the storyline, the remaining strength of schedule rankings for the NBA. And to give you an idea where things sit, the team with the toughest remaining schedule in the NBA is the Denver Nuggets. Combined, their opponents have a record of 54.3%. That's their winning percentage. They have 5 back-to-backs. They do lead the way with the most home games over that stretch. They have 14 home games, 8 away games. But the over-under, it's 14 teams above 500, 8 below. That's rough. That's rough. Now for the Blazers, they come in all the way on the opposite side of that, because Portland has a cumulative win percentage remaining on their schedule of .428. That is the lowest opponent win percentage of any of the remaining schedules in the NBA. In fact, the 10 teams with the easiest schedule the rest of the way in order would be Portland, Cleveland, Sacramento, LA, Milwaukee, Detroit, New York, Phoenix, Miami, and the LA Lakers. Portland, including, again, that Atlanta game, had 3 back-to-backs remaining on the schedule. So that's a good thing, because back-to-backs are rough and hard to get through for just about any team, but Blazers have struggled with them. They have one on March 15th and 16th left on the road in Philadelphia, and then the next night in Brooklyn. Those are the first 2 games of a 5-game road trip that will see them go to Philly, Brooklyn, Indiana, and Minnesota, and Denver. And that Denver game is the first of a back-to-back because they will return home to face the Brooklyn Nets the very next night. So there's 2 remaining back-to-backs on the schedule. Interestingly enough, sometimes words are hard, but the Blazers have to play the Nets on the second night of both of those back-to-backs. A Nets team that is one of the worst in the entire NBA right now. We all know that. We've seen it. We pay attention. As of this recording, they are 15-45. They have lost 8 in a row. They are tied, basically, just a half game ahead. So it's basically tied with the Indiana Pacers for the worst record in the Eastern Conference. The only team worse than Indiana and Brooklyn is the Sacramento Kings at 14-48. So there's that. So that does align well for your Blazers. Now, you look at what they have to deal with, too. It's not just about the wins and losses. It's the quality of those teams that they have to play. According to this article, quote, the Blazers have the league's easiest remaining schedule in regard to both cumulative opponent winning percentage and opposing defenses. 11 of their 21 games remaining are against teams that enter March in the bottom 10 defensively, and only 3 are against teams in the top 10. So that is something to notice as well. Now, you look at the list of the teams that are in the bottom 10 defensively, and you'll notice there was not a Charlotte or Atlanta on that list. So that's kind of nice. But the bottom 10 defensive rating teams right now: Denver, Indiana, the Lakers, Bucks, Bulls, Pelicans, Nets, Kings, Wizards, Jazz. Now, the Blazers did grab a win over the Bulls on that road trip. As we mentioned, they still have 2 games remaining against the Indiana Pacers at home and on the road. They still have Sacramento Kings to end the season. They got the Wizards. That's pretty nice when you think about it. And then you look at the top 10 teams that the Blazers would have to face, the top 10 defensive rating teams right now. Oklahoma City, Detroit, San Antonio, Miami, Houston, Toronto, Boston, Minnesota, New York, and Phoenix. Now, Portland has games left against Minnesota. They have games left against San Antonio. So do the math there. Houston on this road trip, there's your 3 teams. Looking the rest of the way, as we so do here. You got to get through this road trip, Memphis and Houston. Memphis should be, knock on wood, should be a win. That's a team you can beat even if you play like you did against Atlanta and Charlotte, because Memphis is not that good. Hopefully you can get through. They have not been playing good this year. They're on the outside looking in, and it is a game that should be hopefully a get-right game. Now, if you're going to be like some of the texters who got on me the other day, oh, but you're playing Memphis in Memphis. Yeah, because FedEx Forum right now for this team, such a home court advantage. I don't care about that. Get right, you match up with them, get the dub. Houston obviously is going to be tough. Then you come home, you get the Indiana Pacers for the first time, a team that we talked about, the worst team in the Eastern Conference and one of the worst teams defensive rating wise that the Blazers will have to face this year. Then you get Charlotte, hopefully you get a little bit of revenge. Then you get Utah, a team that, again, not very good. Second worst team in the Western Conference, 18-42. Then you go on the road, Philadelphia and Brooklyn. There's one of the 2 remaining back-to-backs. Brooklyn, second worst team in the Eastern Conference. Indiana, we told you that story already. Then you get Minnesota on the road and Denver. That's going to be a tough one right there. 2 real good teams. Then you come home. Brooklyn on the second night of a back-to-back. Milwaukee, who right now is on the outside of the play-in looking in. They are 3 games behind Charlotte. Can they catch up? They could, but with the injuries and Giannis out and all that, it's going to be tough to do. Outside of that, you got Dallas, and we know who Dallas is. They are on the outside looking in right now, but Cooper Flagg's going to be just fine. They can get a draft pick, continue to build. That's what they want. You have Washington, who's one of the worst teams in the league. You have the Clippers, who have been up and down. They traded 2 of their starters at the deadline, said goodbye to Ivica Zubac and said goodbye to James Harden. Then you have the Pelicans, who are going to be the Pelicans. Feels like pretty much no matter what. They're 19-43 on the season. So we'll see what happens there. And then you end the season. You got 2 road games, Denver and San Antonio. San Antonio being one of the top 10 defensive rating teams that you have to face left on your schedule. Denver being one of the worst. So that's, is what it is, balances out. And then you end the season with 2 home games against the Clippers and the Kings. It looks good on paper, but as we all know, games are not won on paper. Games are won on the hardwood. They are won on the court. I have faith in this basketball team. Color me stupid if you want. But what I see from this team is a team that has been up and down for good reason. They are learning. They are maturing. They are getting better before your eyes. This is not the team that we've seen even 2 years ago where tanking was it was going to happen because the team was not good. No, this team is good enough to win games. They're also bad enough to lose games. And sometimes they win games that they shouldn't. Sometimes they lose games that they shouldn't. And quite frankly, I thought at least one of those games against Atlanta or Charlotte was a game that they shouldn't have lost. But they did. So now they've lost 2 in a row, and they have to get to Memphis and get right. If you look at Tankathon, right now Portland is sitting at 11. Now, do we want to see the odds of one of those teams that are sitting at the back and jump into number 1 spot like Dallas did last year? I mean, sure, it makes for a good story, but we all know that statistically, that's really, really hard to do, let alone happen twice in a row. Now, I also know, because I've talked about it on this show with you many a time, that the team that enters the NBA draft lottery with the first, second, and third best odds have only twice over the last 30 years left with the first, second, and third pick. Someone always jumps in. So that's something to think about. But right now, season ends today. Portland has a 9.4% chance of getting into the top 4 and a 2% chance of the number 1 overall pick. in the Western Conference alone. Are they going to lose more games down the stretch than the Memphis Grizzlies? Because they'd have to lose about 6 more than Memphis over the next 20 games to get up to where Memphis is. Memphis is currently in the 8th spot. Dallas is in the 7th, but that's not going to happen. That's a big difference. There's a difference between 9.4 and 2%, as we just mentioned. That jumps up to 26% chance of getting into the number 4 seed and a 6% chance of getting the number 1 overall spot. So the odds are in your favor when you jump up there. They do help you a little bit. But realistically, if the Blazers decided to wave the white flag and mail it in right now, like I mentioned, are they losing 6 more games than Memphis and Dallas down the stretch? The answer is no. Are they losing more games than Milwaukee and Chicago? Maybe, if they went full tank. I don't know if Chicago or Milwaukee have completely decided to full mail it in yet, especially when they're like right there on the cusp, but they don't feel like play-in teams. They feel like they need picks. I think Portland is basically locked in at this point. They're a play-in team. They're going to win ball games down the road because that's just who they are. This little 2-game skid, it's going to be a little black cloud for a minute. Then, as is the way of Portland weather, because we sit here, we live through it, the clouds will clear, things will be fine. And hopefully by game 82, it's all sunshine, blue skies, and you're playing good basketball heading into a play-in matchup. Again, I think that benefits you more than losing games to get a marginally better odds. Like, just the slightest of better odds at getting into the top 4. Because I've also argued with you all that the playoffs are extremely important. Why would I want to get to the play-in and get swept? Because those games matter. The playoffs are a whole different ballgame, a whole different breed. For better or for worse, we've talked about that a lot. Or not just on this show, just it's an NBA storyline. The games are officiated tighter. It's a lot more physical. Coach rotations are smaller. Players play more minutes. Yeah, I want Donovan Clingan and Denny Avdia and Scoot Henderson and Tumani Kamara and everybody to be in those positions and learn from that. Because when you're building a team, it's funny. It's really funny how you always talk about how, oh yeah, this team doesn't have playoff experience. You go get a trade and, oh, you got Robert Williams in. Oh, that's going to be good for this young team. Gives them someone with playoff experience because playoff experience matters. Yeah, Dame doesn't need young guys. He needs guys with playoff experience. Now you're on the cusp of possibly having some playoff experience. Oh, no. Give me the picks. I want the picks. Give me the picks. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that is why I am not team. I'm not team tank. Get into the play-in, and then see what happens. See if you can manage to get into the playoff. Maybe you get a first round series against Oklahoma City. Maybe you get a first round series against the Spurs. And maybe you get swept and you get sent home. But you get that playoff experience that will be so flipping valuable to this young team. More valuable than the 12th pick in the NBA draft. That's all I'm saying. And if you go into the play-in and you lose and you don't get it through, then you're right back in the lottery. You're fine. Then maybe you do get a pick and I'm wrong and that pick helps you. But I still see so much value in even just getting to the play-in and getting a chance to get over the hump. I find that to be huge. So that's what I want. And it all starts with going to Memphis and not crapping the bed. Because as much as we love this team, that feels like that's exactly what happened over the last 2 games. I have said so many times, especially when a good team comes down, Minnesota comes down, you know it's going to be tough. It's going to be knockdown, drag out, battle of a ball game. You know what? You might lose this game, but I want to see the Blazers play competent basketball. I want to see them play Blazer basketball. I want to see them fighting around every pick. I want to see them trying to get every single loose ball, hands in every single passing lane, out in transition, up above the rim, making the other team work. And if you lose, you take it on the chin, but you know that you gave that team everything. And they left Moda Center going, God, dang, that team's tough. Seems like an entire world ago. An entirely different timeline. When the Blazers started the season and you have Minnesota come to town, get a win, opening night. Anthony Edwards hits a late bucket, game winner. Talking about, oh my gosh, that team's tough. They guard you all the way up and down. All the way up and down. Never let off. There's no such thing as coming to Portland and for an easy win anymore. Coach Kerr comes in, talks about, the Blazers and what they had to deal with that night, that first game after the Chauncey Billups news. And Tiago Splitter's there, acting head coach, talking about the fight that team put up. And then every single locker room for the next week talking about the defense that Blazer team was playing. Tumani Kamara trying to lock people down in a healthy Drew Holiday and Blake Wesley prior to the injury that, was unfortunately very early in the season. Everybody talking about how good that team was on defense and things were looking up. That is the Blazer team that I want back. It's a Blazer team that you want back. It's a Blazer team that we want back. In Memphis, give them hell, boys. Make them work. Funny enough, the professional football team in the state of Tennessee, in neighboring Nashville, which is not really a neighbor, it's like on the other side of the state, but still, you get what I'm saying. What's their mascot? They're the Titans. They are the Titans. Remember that quote from the movie? You make sure that they remember the night they played the Titans. Well, you make sure the Grizzlies remember the night they played the Blazers. Play with some ferocity. Get the action out there. Play with a little bit of a-hole in you. You know what I'm saying? Be mean. Play feisty. I've told you that. I like feisty Donovan Clingan. Play that way. Play with an edge. Play Blazer basketball, because what we saw in Atlanta and Charlotte was not that. I think that's why we came out of those two games just a little frustrated. Losses you can deal with. Losses that shouldn't have been losses the way they were because it feels like your team just mailed it in a little bit. Those hurt. This team, we know, is still learning. And I will beat that drum that they are maturing, they are getting better, and this is all part of that. Which means the other part of that is now you get to go show that those losses that are supposed to be learning experiences, you indeed learn from. It starts Wednesday in Memphis. That's going to do it for the 1977. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends about it, because you know what? I have fun doing it. You guys are awesome as always. Be sure to catch me on Rip City Radio before and after every Trailblazers game with Blazers Game Day and the fifth quarter. And of course, Courtside Mondays. Any Monday, the Blazers aren't playing from 6 to 7. Whew, they're going to be fine, I assure you. I love y'all. I'll talk to you on the next one.
You've been listening to the 1977 podcast. See you next time.